Hey guys, Charles Yeager from Metal. I'm going to show you step by step what I do when I export a 360-degree video created with Skybox from After Effects. I like to create a high resolution version first, and then I'm going to bring that into Media Encoder. I'll show you the settings that I use when I convert that into an MP4 file, because it has to be MP4 to be compatible with YouTube. But also I'll show you guys how to use the YouTube metadata tool so you can inject your MP4 video with the proper metadata that YouTube needs when you upload it to recognize that it's a 360-degree video and for it to be compatible with YouTube 360. Now I've already created my 360-degree animation, so let's just get started right before I export it from After Effects. Now for our output frame width, I like to set this to 3840. That's just because YouTube kind of prefers that width for 360-degree videos. And now we're basically ready to export our video. So if we go to our render queue here, in our project, make sure that you render out your main Skybox output composition and not your original main composition. That's because we want to export this equal rectangular image. I'm going to drag that to my render queue. I'm going to export this out as a QuickTime file. And for format, I'm going to do photo JPEG at 95% quality. I'm going to click OK. Now when we upload to YouTube, we're going to actually have to convert this file to an H.264 file. And I like to do that in Media Encoder. But before I do that, I always like to export a higher quality version first. That way it just kind of has a little bit better conversion in Media Encoder. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go ahead and name this export Skybox City. Click Save. And one last step, before we actually export our video, I like to close the composition window. That way it's not having to render a preview while it's exporting. And this can help prevent things from crashing during the export. All right, so let's go ahead and click Render. I'm going to fast forward through this so we can get to the end of the render. Alright, now that our video file is done exporting, we go ahead and click on it and check it out here. You can see it's 15 seconds long, it's 801 megabytes because we did a high-res render. It's 3840 by 1920, so it's pretty large. Now there's two things we need to do before we upload to YouTube. We need to first convert this to an MP4 file. So I'm going to use Adobe Media Encoder to do that. Right now we're in Adobe Media Encoder. I'm going to show you guys the exact settings that I use when I upload 360-degree videos to YouTube. Let's go ahead and add our video. I'm going to select our high-res QuickTime video. All right, now we got that in Media Encoder. You're going to want to set the output to H.264. And let's click on this to change our export settings. It's going to pop up this dialog box. By default, the video is going to be set to match source high, which is kind of what we want, but we're going to want to tweak a couple things here. You're going to want to check on render at maximum depth. And for the bitrate encoding, I'm going to change this to constant bitrate. I'm going to set this to 100. I typically export all of my 360 videos at 100, but if you have a lot of action going on, you may want to bump this up to 150 megabits per second. YouTube actually recommends that if you have a lot of action going on. And you could even get away with doing it as low as 50. It just depends on what's going on in your video. I'm going to set the keyframe distance down here to 30. And I'm also going to check this box to use maximum render quality. I'm going to turn off export audio just because I don't have any audio on this video clip. If you have audio, definitely leave that on. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to click play up here to export it. All right, now you can see we have our new MP4 file, which is what YouTube requires 360-degree videos to be. And you can see the file size is a lot smaller at 178 megabytes. Now there's one more step we need to do. We actually need to add a little bit of metadata to our video so YouTube can recognize this and know that it is a 360-degree video when we upload it. Lucky for us, YouTube makes this really easy because they've created their own metadata tool that you can download. I'll have the link to this in the description, how to get to this tool. But they have a download for either Mac or Windows, and you just download this to your computer. All right, after you download the 360-degree video metadata tool, just double-click it. You might get a warning that pops up, just click Run. This little dialog box is going to pop up to inject your video with the metadata. Go ahead and click Open. Then just navigate to your MP4 video. Click Open. And it's going to say that no metadata has been found on the video, which is correct. So let's go ahead and check this box that says spherical and click Save As. I like to save mine in the same location as the original, and it's going to have this underscore injected at the end of the name, which is meaning that it's been injected with the new metadata. Click Save. This will just take a second. Then it should say your file's been saved successfully, and you go ahead and click Quit. All right, so now we're ready to go ahead and upload our 360-degree video to YouTube. Just make sure you upload the version that's been injected with the metadata. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Make sure you check out the link to download the YouTube metadata tool. This is Charles Yeager from Metal.